Evening everyone. Tonight's recipe, quick chicken risotto. Quick run round of the ingredients. Got 2 chicken breasts in there, bit of butter, bit of salt and pepper. They're going to go in the good old air fryer. We've got some banana shallots, using shallots rather than onions, and I'll show you how I prep those shallots. You get a really fine shallot that imparts flavour of the shallot but doesn't actually give any body of an onion to the risotto. We've got 300 grams of some good quality risotto rice. We've got 40 grams of Parmesan cheese that's been finely grated. And we've got just over 2 litres of stock, which is going to go on and heat up. Now, I have used again the Knorr stock cubes. What I did this time, so I melted them in some water first and then strained them because I don't want all the bits from the stock, like the little bits of carrots and herbs in there. I want just a clean stock. Okay, so that's the ingredients and a bit of butter. There's my old friendly pan for that I use all the time. This is going to be good for the risotto as well. Some quick tips on how to do your shallots here to get a nice fine. So sharp knife, end off the shallot, cut down straight down the middle of the shallot. All right, now you can just peel the top layers off and then actually cut the shallots like that, but I'm going to show you a quick tip how to get them really fine. So first of all, you're going to take all the bits of the shallot we don't need off, and then what we're going to do, get rid of all the stuff, is just take about 3 or 4 layers of the shallot out like this. All right. And what that does, it gives you a nice flat surface, right, without splitting them. So you can flatten the shallot down. I'll take this off here for you. Do that. Don't want that in our risotto, do we? So you can get a nice flat surface with the shallot, and you can just cut down very finely. Okay, so you've got little bits like that. Yeah, and then what you can do is you can get your knife and you can go really thin with this. Don't forget sharp knives, keep your fingers out of the way. Right, and you can see here you get a really nice, very small shallot, right? And that's going to impart flavour to your risotto, but you're not going to get lumps of onion. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do all of these because it's quite boring, and I'll come back to you. Right, so the chicken's in the air fryer now. I'm going to give that 20, it's been in there already. I'm going to give that 20 minutes on about 180 roasting in the air fryer. Then going to take it out and probe it with my trusty probe. I want it to get to about an internal temperature of 74. That's the minimum you should really do. My stock is just nicely simmered out. My pan's on. And the first thing I'm going to do is go in with a good glug of olive oil. And then a small, 2 seconds, let me get my knife. Should have had all this ready. A small knob of butter. And just let that melt away. Utensils. I don't want this butter to colour too much. This is just for flavour, okay? I don't want it to colour, so I'm going to turn the temperature down on that bit. The first thing that goes in is your shallots that are nicely diced. Let me just put the camera down a minute. Let's see what I do. Now again, you don't want these shallots to colour, you just want them to soften, because you want the risotto to be as clear as you like, nice and clear. Right, so in goes the rice, 300 grams of risotto rice, straight in. And now you just want to coat that rice with the oil, so you'll see the risotto rice change in colour with the oil going all over it. Okay. And at the moment, it doesn't matter how much you stir this, you're just trying to break down a tiny bit of the starch of the rice. Right, that's the rice done. Now, what you should do is use a decent white wine, right? But just to start the stock off, but I haven't got any decent white wine, so I'm using some decent rosé. And you just want a good glug of that in there. There you go, that much out the bottle. The rest of it we'll drink with it. And again, just move the wine around, get it just coating the rice. Okay, turn that up a bit. And what you want with risotto is you add liquid, a couple of ladles at a time, let that reduce and let the rice absorb it, so you'll get a nice soft rice at the end of it. So just leave that like that. There you can just see the rice, the oil, the wine just sort of bubbling away here. Just cooking off a bit of the alcohol. All we want is the flavour. Okay, that's nearly just about gone. What we could do now is go in with a couple of ladles of stock. And at that point, all we do, give it a little stir around. And you just repeat that until the stock has reduced and the rice has absorbed all that stock. So I'm not going to sit here with the camera on the phone for for the time it takes, but I'll just do the first one so you can see what consistency you want the rice to go before you add any more stock. You can see it's bubbling away now. A lot of it is obviously evaporating, but it's also getting into the rice. And what you want to do with a good risotto is not stir it too much. Okay, you don't want obviously the rice to burn on the bottom of the pan, but the less you can stir this, the better. And you have to be gentle as well. So just give that a little stir, distribute the stock again. Still enough stock in there for that rice. What you'll notice that the bubbles, you'll see it down here, the bubbles down here, you can start seeing the bottom of the pan through the bubbles. Okay, that means it's nearly ready to add some more stock. Okay, just pull it away from the sides a bit. There you can see when you pull it away, there's not a lot of stock left in there. So that's the sort of stage where you want to now add another couple of ladles of stock. Okay. And then again, quick stir. There you go. Right, and we'll leave that, and we'll keep doing that until the stock is all near enough gone, and the rice, we'll just test it to see how firm it is. So back in a mo once I've finished all the stock. Right, air fryer's finished. There's the chicken breasts done. Now I've just probed them, and they're about 74, 75 in the thickest part of the meat. That's here. Yeah, and that was about 2 minutes ago. I'll just probe them again to show you. Sorry. So this is the thickest part of the meat, and as you can see, they're now 76, 77. So they are perfect. All right, I'll do this one here. Actually, that's gone. See, that's gone higher, and it, even with the 2-3 minutes. So they are definitely well cooked. What we're going to do is we're going to just leave them with the drawer slightly open. Just to rest and relax. Tiny bit of stock left, but the risotto is actually now done. You can see that the rice is puffed up. And if I quickly show you what the risotto rice looks like, this one here is dry risotto, and this one here you can see it's puffed up. So you can see the difference in the size of the grains if we just look at that. So quite small there. That's got all the stock, and that's the sort of texture you want. There's still a tiny bit of liquid in there. Now, what we're going to do now is just season this. I have tasted it. The risotto is actually, it's well flavoured. Just going to add a tiny bit of pepper into this. Now, don't use your ground black pepper here. Right, all I'm going to do A little bit of white pepper in there because I don't want the black flakes. Yeah, so a little bit of ground white pepper. It actually doesn't need salt. It's just a taste, but it doesn't need salt. And at this point, we're actually going to turn it off the heat, and we're going to put in just a small knob of butter. Right, that's just going to enrich the risotto. You see, as you take it off the heat, the liquid is actually going to go to the bottom. And now you see the consistency of the risotto that you want. You see it's a nice clean colour. And we're going to go in with our 40 grams of Parmesan cheese. And just give that a gentle stir around. The final thing we're going to do is don't waste the juices that are in the bottom of the air fryer. Right, they've got all lovely flavour. Okay, that goes in there. Stir that around. And then we just get a spoon and show you the consistency of this risotto now. You see, it's just falling off. It actually looks a bit like rice pudding, but you know, I like rice pudding, but it's not going to taste exactly the same. Okay, so that's risotto. It's off the heat now. Don't forget to turn your heat off your stock pot because otherwise it will burn dry. And you'll see that I've got 2 chicken breasts here. This is a feed a family of 3. It's 100 grams of risotto rice each. Just carve the chicken. You'll see it's lovely and juicy still. It's not overcooked. See the resting of this has really helped. And then we're getting down to the thicker part here, but it's still perfectly cooked. You know, the air fryer is an absolute wonderful thing for cooking chicken, things like chicken quickly. Yeah, you know, I use it all the time. Unless I've got chicken that's got skin on it, I want to give it a good colour. But look, there's the thickest part of the meat there, and you see it's perfectly cooked.